Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, right at a little bit after 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And today, because I am traveling, as many of you know, I'll be traveling this weekend. I have decided to do an AMA tonight. And boy, after this recent election, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There definitely is a lot of stuff that we could be chatting about. And I thought of all the things to chat about, of all the things, I thought one of the most interesting ones was actually the idea of, is there a new, I guess, swing vote? If you remember in many of the elections, they go, you know, this is the election for soccer moms or whatever, right? It's the election for this person, or if you can get that person, then you'll be able to win. Has that person become, and I'm not saying it has or hasn't, but has that person become young men? Has it become young men? And why would I even say that? All right. Why would I say that? Because, hold on, let me show you this if I can. I will show you this one. Oh, wait, this isn't going the way I want it to go. I have to restart this damn thing. All right, hold on. I'm not good with the shorts as they are. I'm looking at a short now, so I got to make sure I get the short right. This was a short that I thought was kind of cute. This is lefties, trying to be cute with us, which is okay. I get it. They're trying to be cute. All righty.
Hey, babe. Sorry to wake you up. I know it's really early. It's really early where both of us are, but I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep last night because I just kept thinking about something that just feels really important for me to share with you.
Okay.
Mamdani won Young Men by 40 points.
She's not lying.
I want to hear what you're thinking. I don't want to assume. I don't want to make any assumptions about how you feel about this or what you're going to do about it, but it seems important. So yeah, just like call your team, call Richard Reeves, call Ezra Klein. Let me know what they think. Feel free to, talk it out with them. Mm-hmm. And then let me know if you're willing to get with the fucking program with economic populism. But yeah, no, we can talk about it more with the therapist. Yeah.
I thought you guys might think that was funny. That part was kind of interesting. And I bring that up because you might say, well, wait a minute, like, that's just some TikTokers talking trash. Well, it's kind of not. It's based on something real. And this is from Crystal and Friends. And Crystal decides to of course, she's loving this. Of course she is. So she is loving this. And we will see how she decides. She will give you some actual data. If I can do this. Okay, hold on. Let's do this real fast. Pop this on. There we go. And
obviously it was still a total shellacking across the board. Let's put A5 up on the screen. I mentioned this before. Young men. We see significant swings here. This is a demographic that Trump narrowly won in 2024, and now you see Abigail.
And that's the point I'm bringing up. When Trump won as the rebel, when he was the rebel, he won young men. Bernie, when he was the rebel, was winning young men. Mamdani, he is the rebel, winning young men. Is this where the young men are going to go, right? Are they going to go to the rebel, whoever that rebel is? Are the young men even caring? I was talking to a friend of mine who's very left-leaning, and he's like, well, we have policy. I said, nobody cares. He's like, what? I said, people don't care. I got great policies. I'm not the governor. If people care about policy, I'd be the governor already. People care about policy, I'd be the president already. They don't care. They care about other things, including policy. But here's the issue. Do you have a plan? That does matter. You have one, right? But second, do you come across as strong? I say this all the time. Do you come across as strong? And whether you like Mamdani or not, whatever you might think, he came across as strong. He came across as someone who wasn't going to bend. I'm not saying he is going to bend. I said how he comes across. he comes across as someone who's not going to bend. He comes across as someone who's going to stand up for you and fight for you. That's how he comes across. And people ran to that. They did. Plus 40, men 18 to 29. That's insane. That is a huge victory for the rebel, which I think is a key issue. We need young men.
Spanberger won him by 14. Mikey Sherrill won by 10. Zohran Mamdani won him by 40, by the way, in New York City. And
now, my daughter, for those you know, is an EMT, and she works on an ambulance, and she will sometimes get different partners and such who will be working with her. Just yesterday, she tells me a story, or 2 days ago, I forgot when. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, and the guy's like, "Yeah, aren't you happy? You heard that? It was today. Anyway, it was recent." She's, aren't you happy that, Mamdani won? And my daughter said, yeah, not really. And he's like, what do you mean? It's going to be great. He cares about us New Yorkers. This is a conversation they're having, right? Cares about New Yorkers. He's like, oh, okay. Like my daughter's like, whatever. Like, can we just do our job? He's like, no. He's going to, he's going to be great for us. And she's like, why? And this is what he said. It's what she told me he said. Some of you sit down. He said, he cares about us. He's going to lower our taxes. That's what he said. Now, literally, some of you, like, your head want to explode. There is literally no way in the world Mamdani is going to lower our taxes. I mean, that's clearly not going to happen. Now, what he's ever said, he never spoke about that, wasn't a thing, not in his platform, never going to happen. That guy assumed that. Why? Because he liked Mamdani. He just liked him. He thought he was a cool guy who was fighting for us. That's what he thought. And because he thought that, he assumed, what did he want? Lower taxes. Of course, Mamdani's going to do that because he's going to do whatever I want him to do because he's fighting for me. That's his logic. He didn't know. Then my daughter, of course, who listens to me, sorry, guys, she does. She's like, well, didn't he say he's going to get free buses? He's like, yeah, it's going to make the buses free. She's like, who's going to pay for that? He's like, what do you mean? Taxes. The guy's like, what? Literally. And this isn't it's not that the guy is not smart. That isn't the issue. He's a dummy. He's not a dummy. Don't think that it's not true. It's not true. Just isn't paying attention. Most people aren't paying attention. That's reality. I tell you this all the time. All those Bernie bros in 2016 who, after they threw Bernie out, the Democrats backstabbed Bernie, ran to Trump. Politically, how could they? Policy-wise, how could they? If it's about policy, couldn't be done. Impossible. It wasn't about policy. It wasn't about, and I was there too. When I was younger, I voted for Ross Perot, and then right after that, I voted for Ralph Nader, not knowing the difference between the two at all. I still can't tell you any policies. I couldn't have told you one policy then, and I can't tell you one even now. But I just know Ross Perot's Reform Party. Now I know. I didn't know back then. And then Nader's Green Party. I thought they were the same party. Like it was the independent party, whatever. They're the same guy, same party, I thought. I thought like Ralph Nader replaced Perot was what I thought happened. That's how ignorant I was to the system. But I knew they were rebels. I'm voting for them. Now, if you actually know any policies, a Green Party person, Reform Party are going to have different policies. I didn't know. I didn't care. I was this guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's fighting for us. I'm going to vote for him. What's he going to do? I don't know, whatever I want. I guess lower taxes. Not that. Not that, my friend. That's a real story. I thought you guys might enjoy that.
The biggest divide, there were a number of interesting divides in that race that I'll get into later a bit with Summer Lee, but the biggest divide was generational. I mean, Zohran won overwhelmingly with young voters. And
is it generational? Right? I thought it was, we got to get the Hispanic voter. We got to get the black voter. We got to get the whatever vote. Right? Remember, there's always like some kind of identity politics that they're always playing. Is this one generational? It feels to me like it is. That's why I'm just opening this up. Right?
And Cuomo won with older voters. So that was, the biggest divide to take out of that race in particular. But you can see that we covered even before the election, the way that Trump's approval rating has fallen off a cliff with young voters. He's now.
And that is why I said that was the problem. the actual reason why, if you look at all the reasons, as there's many reasons why, but at its core, young independents and most young men, more of them are leaning conservative than ever. That's true, but a lot of them do not consider themselves Republicans. A lot of them don't. They don't consider them Democrats at all. Most young men look at Democrats as, oh, that's the women's party. Why? Because so many young women are Democrats. That's how many young men think. So they go, well, I'm not a Democrat because that's the women's party. I'm not joking. You'll hear many of them talk that way, right? So they're not that, but they don't like Republicans. So they're just independent. But many of them are more conservative than ever. With that in mind, if they like Trump, they'll vote for him. They don't care. You're like, but he's a bad guy. Clearly they don't care. Or they don't like him, they vote against him. That happens often.
Now in the 20s when it comes to his approval rating with young voters. Again, this is a demographic that Republicans were very proud to have improved significantly with, especially, again, young men. And you can see that those gains have largely significantly evaporated.
It's the same thing, guys, as to the Latino. It's the young dudes who are going to be pissed off at Trump. The young guys who like Trump or were Trump there probably didn't come out to vote. So it's going to be skewed toward the Democrats. And then even with the swing ones, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Like, it's not like all young people voted in the 2024 election, same in 2025. But if the people who do come out to vote are overwhelmingly going to be polarized, in particular from social media, from activism, whatever, then of course, you're going to have a huge drop in that. So yeah, it's a huge problem here because there was a level.
Yeah, but here's the most important piece. And this, I touched on this, it was 2 nights ago or last night. I forgot when I touched on it. I touched on it on one issue. Democrats, if you're a Republican, I talked about this last night. You have to work on this. You've got to fix this situation. Don't walk away and don't pay attention. If you're a Democrat, don't sit on your laurels. Don't think, oh, now we got them back and it's over. We now have it because now they hate Trump. So now we're good. So yeah, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Let me go a little bit further on this and then we'll wrap this up.
Level of online enthusiasm for the Republicans in 2024 that evaporated in the span of a year. It's honestly impressive to torch yourself that quickly. And let's think about the reasons why. There's been
early on this year, Trump was very popular. We know this. We saw the polls. He was very popular. So a lot of these people, they jumped on board saying, oh, let's jump on a Trump train. He's popular. Made sense. You probably would have done it too. You probably would have done it also. Absolutely, right? Made a lot of sense. Then he became unpopular just last couple of months. And that's because the economy is not good. Some of that's his fault. Some of it's not. AI is AI. It's affecting him. But doesn't matter if it's his fault or not. I'd be very clear. I say this all the time. If you are the president, when good stuff happens, you get credit. When bad stuff happens, you get blame. It's utterly not fair and the way it is. You be mad at it, explain it away, whatever. He didn't deserve that credit. He's getting it. He didn't deserve that blame. He's getting it. It's how it works. So AI is hitting now. Trump doesn't even talk about it. Yes.
So much analysis online. My personal favorite, by the way, is that Republicans beefing with each other is why Republicans didn't come out to vote. I was like, yeah, for sure. That's definitely the reason why. Or maybe it has to do with a monomaniacal obsession with Israel for an entire year. And the fact is that the basics of life have not changed at all.
Bingo. That's the issue. He's hit it perfectly. The basics of life have not changed. If not, they've gotten worse. That's the issue. If not, they've gotten worse. And that's the problem. Again, why in the midterms did Milei do so well? Even though he's been through a lot of bad stuff. He's been through terrible stuff. He's been through that stupid cryptocurrency thing. Why? Because overall, Argentinians say, you know what? It's better. It is. My rent's lower. Inflation's lower. There's less homeless. Let's keep this guy. That's what happened in the long run. That's what happened. Life was better. And that piece mattered. Life was better. And that overall, that's going to trump everything overall, right? If it gets really obviously bad or opposite, very good. Either one of those two. So yes. All right. Is there any more of this guy?
There's no optimism that they will change at all.
Yep.
There's no plan to make it so that they will.
I keep saying that. Where's the plan?
At all. So one thing I appreciate about the younger generation is that they are cynical to the point of, if you don't do something for me very quickly, I don't believe you anymore. Because at a certain point, we've seen the movie so many different times that after the one big beautiful bill, you're like, look, I've explained it here. We only open the tax code once every 5 years. So they opened it and that was it. And we got extension of the tax cuts, and nothing is really changing in terms of housing policy, industrial policy, whatever, anything, like whatever the basics are. Interest rates are not going anywhere, as we've complained.
Yes, all these he says true, and I'll stop at that point. Let me grab some comments. I hope that makes sense for you guys, why I picked this one, because it does seem like, it does feel like, this is a tough spot, and young men are valuable. People want them. So, all right, let me grab some comments if I could. There are so many of them. All righty, I'm going to leave Vivek away for now. Let me keep some people who are on top, and I'll come back to you, Vivek. I know you have a couple of those. So, Little Lady says, Mamdani already needs money. He's a politician. Politicians always need money. He's going to try to run again, right? He's trying to get his second term. He's putting money away already for a second term, of course. So, Masterman Alba says, make ageism great again. That is MAGA. That's true. Yes. Andrea says, do you think Mamdani will be as detrimental as the right is saying? No, it's not. No, this is the same. Mamdani is brown man bad, like Trump was orange man bad. Remember, if Trump won, we were going to have no more elections. Remember that story? They were going to be building the camps and putting us all in camps. They were going to kill all the trans people. Remember that? None of that's true. None of that's true. He's not going to be as bad. Is he going to be a bad mayor? I think yes. But is he as bad as the right says? No. They're making him a boogeyman because it works. They'll raise money off this like there's no tomorrow. It's the same way Democrats raise money off orange man bad. Republicans will raise money off brown man bad. That's why a lot of Republicans, they're not mad he won. They're not mad. Like, yeah, we're going to raise a ton of money now. We'll make the Republicans think that we can stop the brown man. That's all it is. It's going from orange man bad to brown man bad. That's it. So, yes. Oh, righty. Everybody says, I'm used to Larry being spicy, starting his line out just right with the F-bombs. I'm sorry. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Anyway. All righty. Rick says, what can Mamdani actually do? What the mayor actually has a lot of control over. The mayor actually has a lot of control over two things. Schools and cops. A lot of control over that. That's probably the number one, number two things he has control over. Can he affect other policies? Yes, he can, but he doesn't have control over it. He can affect them. He can move for them. What a mayor is supposed to be is something else. And this is what, guys like Koch got it a lot. So did Bloomberg. They got it. And in a way, in an odd way, even Adams got it in an odd way. What I mean by that is one of the biggest things the mayor is supposed to be is a cheerleader and marketer for the city. And that's been true for a long time and still is true. Ed Koch was very good at that back in the 70s. Very good at that, right? Adams, okay, but he's done bad things. If Adams didn't have his scandals, he wasn't a bad ambassador. He wasn't great, but at least he got it like he was supposed to do that, like the New York stuff, and he did some of that. Bloomberg was good as an ambassador too. So there's supposed to be that kind of ambassador, marketer for the city. So what he actually can do very easily, cops and schools, a lot of control over that. Things like basic maintenance in the city, right? Garbage getting taken care of, potholes getting filled, signs getting put up, a lot of that. Building too, he affects building codes tremendously. So he can help with the building codes, who he puts on the boards, who he makes his commissioners. So yes, also building, but not as much. But yes, even building. So I hope that's kind of clear. Andrea says, I think young men want someone who's going to change things because the status quo isn't working. Yes. Yes. And they often don't know or care why. Or even how. You're right, Andrea. They often don't know or care. You're totally correct. Yes. Absolutely. So, all righty. If I grab a couple more of these, Rick says someone's huffing gasoline. Yeah. Maybe. Phil says, Herman Cain, 999. I remember that was his policies. Remember that. Lady Liberty says, 100% most people aren't paying attention. True. Very true. Master Manal says, looks like Crystal went as Erin Gray from Buck Rogers for Halloween. I had a huge crush on Aaron Gray and Buck Rogers. I did. It's kind of a cheesy show, but she was hot. So that was nice. That was good. So, in any case, Phil has jokes. Cuomo won with older voters because of survivor's bias. Boo, 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 boo. But thank you for $2, my friend. Cuomo won because of, you did both of them. Thank you for the $2. I did it twice. So, yes, you got it 2 times for that one. So, yeah. Mike Voss is in the house. He says, notice they didn't mention being indoctrination by education. They blame social media instead, missing forest for trees. I'm not sure that's true, Mike. The men are coming out of the same education now, and you're seeing them still push against mainstream, push against a lot. I think now social media is more powerful than education right now. I think mostly women, men too, but it's much more heavily women are judging themselves and their outcomes and whether they're right or wrong. And young women, I should say. This is mostly younger women. So let me qualify. We're talking about young men and young women. So under 30. So to be clear, that's how I define young. Under 30. If you're under 30, you're young. See, there we go. Defined it. And if you're older than me, you're old. That's you, Mike. Anyway, so if you're older than me, you're old. If you're younger than 30, you're young. And as I get older, that number moves up. Just so you're aware. So I never get old. So I am always the limit of normal, just so you're aware. So when I was younger, when you were older than me, you were still old. So just remember that. That's how it works, just so we're clear on that. But I just yapped away for nothing. Let me be clear. I think that you look at the boys, they're coming out of the same education system, and they are far more conservative, far more against the system than the girls are. And because the girls are far more on social media and judging themselves by social media than the boys are. The boys are too, but just not as much. So I think that's a critical piece. So, all righty. I think I grabbed a bunch of these. Kim says, Charlie Kirk motivated young men to vote. Yes. Yes. Mike goes, the left were obsessed with Hamas. That's not true. That's Republican propaganda. Don't believe that. No. The left was not. Left leadership might have been, but the average lefty was not obsessed with Hamas. It's not true at all. They were anti-Israel, and there's a difference. Most of them don't know what the hell Hamas is. You know that, Mike. Come on. They have no idea what Hamas is. They don't know how it works. They don't know what it is. They have no clue. They're like, that's like Palestinian people or whatever. They have no idea. They weren't obsessed with Hamas. That's Republican that's Republican propaganda. They were not obsessed. That's same as orange man bad, brown man bad. Not true. They were anti-Israel, and the most reason why they were anti-Israel is not because they even knew what the hell was going on there. They just knew people are dying, and this seems cool. I wish I was joking, but if you saw in his protests, a whole lot of those people had no idea why they were there. Yeah, this is cool. Let's follow these guys. That's what was happening more than anything. The same as BLM. Same as BLM. Same thing. At least half those people in BLM had no clue whether BLM was good or bad or whatever. They're like, oh, I think we're helping black people, right? Oh, we're good. That's what they thought. You give them far too much credit. Far too much credit. It's not even close. It's not even close. Far too much credit. All right, let me head back to the top and grab some other questions if I could. Vivek says, can you talk about how a privatized criminal justice system can be achieved and how it would work? I have never discussed a privatized criminal justice system. I don't think I have I? Not my policies. Yeah, New York City does not have privatized criminal justice. But could it work? Yes, it could work. But our current system is nowhere near that. So Lil J wants me, thank you for $2. Wants to explain Occupy Wall Street and outcome of it. All right, let me do both of those then. I appreciate that, Lil J. Let me first go with privatized system. Could a privatized criminal justice system work? It could. It's just we're nowhere near it. We'd have to have a massive change in how we do things. But could it work? Yes. Let me explain how it could work in a very changed world. So I'm being very theoretical when I say this, guys, because we're nowhere near this. Currently, the way things work, I would never want to privatize criminal justice right now. The way we have it now, terrible idea. You would have to have a criminal justice system that is rewarded for getting people out of jail. It's exactly the opposite. They're incentivized to keep more people in jail longer because that's how they get paid. You would have to have a system to where prisons were paid like recruiting companies. So they'd have to be able to have ownership in things like an incubator. Again, we're nowhere near doing this, but that's how it could work. Imagine if your prison system was several things: an education system that would either teach trades or would give college education, whatever the case may be, or an incubator system, one of the three, and you had to go to one of those three. And if you failed out of all of those three, you are considered at this point deemed irredeemable, which would be terrible, but that will be how the system would have to work. Irredeemable, and you just do your time. That's it, do your time, right? But otherwise, the system would somehow get paid. What does that mean? Let's say you're getting a trade or you are getting educated. When you're done, whenever your time is up, and you go out into the world, wherever you're placed, the prison would make money based upon placement. So the prison would say, okay, we've hired these guys, we've made them calm, they're no longer violent. The system would have to create ways to keep violence down, to either give people the medical help they need, or the mental health care they need, so they wouldn't be violent anymore. They have to find a way to do that, of course. Have to be voluntary, obviously, right? Then they go through it, and if they went through the system, they would somehow have less time. So you're supposed to do 8 years, but you go through the system, you prove yourself nonviolent, you only do 4 years or something like that, right? Again, we're talking theoretical. We are nowhere near this. I'm saying how it could work. And then when a person gets a job, either as a plumber or as a teacher or whatever, then the prison is paid like a recruiting company. They get 1 year of that salary goes back to that person, or maybe even ongoing, right? It could be a system to where however much that prison paid for that prisoner, that they would get a cut of that person's income until X, right? Until X, whatever the case may be, right? So you go out and you pay me back until I'm paid back, and then we're done. We move on. If you had an incubator, the businesses that would be started from there, the prison system would own a chunk of that business, whatever that percentage is, 25%, 50%. Again, either in perpetuity or until they get a certain amount of money back. Now, if it was in perpetuity, that would create a trust. That trust would pay for the people who can't come out, or who are just going to stay for a while and going to come back anyway. So that's how that would be paid for. That's the way you could make it work in theory. Now, again, we are nowhere near that. No one's talking about that. That system doesn't exist. That's, I don't know, in Larry land. I don't know where the hell that is, right? But you asked, that's how it could work. And in reality, if that happened, there's no taxpayer issues. Taxpayers aren't paying for it. Now, the taxpayers are paying for the court system. Yes, they're not paying for the people who are being incarcerated. They're only paying for the court system. Everything else, the companies themselves are paying for, because they're making money on people getting out and getting jobs, and a new business being created, or intellectual property being created. They would own the intellectual property, at least half of it, right? So you might go, that's not fair, they're getting that. The guy's a criminal. Stop. That's part of your punishment. You lose half of your IP. But he's brilliant. Well, he shouldn't have robbed people. He shouldn't have stabbed people. So I guess you lose half your IP. Sorry, how that works. That's how it will work in that regard, right? Or you lose half your company. Sorry, you're going to lose it. You don't rob people and steal people. You lose half your property. That's how it works. Oh, well. But then you get paid back, and everybody, and in that case, in theory, everybody will be happy. In theory. You could even add a spot to where a certain chunk will go back to the people who are harmed. So you actually have justice, actual justice, right? So I've been harmed by, whatever. Daniel robs me. I lose $5,000 worth of all garbage and stuff that I've lost. He took my car and trashed everything, right? So now I'm trashed. I'm $5,000 out. Well, Daniel goes to jail for 2 years. They teach him how to be a plumber. He didn't want to be one, but he accepts that. He goes, I'll be a plumber. Fine. Does it. He goes to get a job. That company who hires Daniel is going to pay the prison a fee, just like a recruiter does. And then Daniel's pay is going to be garnered, whatever amount, 20%, whatever. 10% goes to me till I get $5,000. 10% goes back to the prison until they're made up with every money they spent on him. Done and done. That, in theory, is how that would work. So I hope that's a libertarian answer in Larry land. Again, we're nowhere near that, but that would be great. Now I'm talking about explain Occupy Wall Street and the outcome of it. I bring it up often. The concept, and this is very similar to what Mike was talking about with Hamas and with BLM. It's a similar concept. in that most people who went down there had no idea what it was. They had no idea. They couldn't have told you what it was. Now, the worst part is, at least some of the movements actually have like some things they want, some demands or whatever. Some of them want that, right? These guys had nothing. Occupy Wall Street, the concept, again, at a conceptual level, was great. The concept was 1% of America is screwing 99% of America, and we want to fix that. True. That's an accurate statement. That's what's actually happening. True. And we should make it better. Yes, we should. So conceptually, that was nice. In practice, it was a bunch of people in drum circles snapping their fingers. I wish I was joking. I'm not. If you were there, I'm telling the truth. That's what it was. It was people who outside snapping their fingers on this is right. And we're going to virtue signal. And we're going to virtue signal some more. And if you want a virtue signal, snap your fingers and bring your bongos. That's what it was. And did nothing. Why? They had no leader, no face, and they had no demands. They didn't know what they wanted. So in reality, corporate America was afraid. They may tell you they weren't. They're lying. They were afraid. Absolutely. I know I was around here. I was here when it was happening. They were afraid. They're like, damn, this could be something real. They were worried because the people were not leaving. They weren't afraid. They weren't leaving. And the cops didn't want to do it. So like, damn, what do we do now? And what happened? This is when the culture war really went hardcore. Yes, this is when it went hardcore. Because corporate America said, wait a minute. They want like us to like hire gay people or something, or like put trans people in bathrooms or something. Yeah. So we could just do that. Yeah. Just do that. Let's like make another bathroom or something. Or we'll say we love gay people. Or like we'll hire some extra black women. Or we'll hire like black gay women. Whatever. We'll hire some of them. We'll make a token person on our board be Puerto Rican or something. Yeah. Can we do that? And they were like, let's try it. And they did that. They said, yeah, we're going to put a pride flag up on Pride Month. And we're going to say we love trans people, even though we don't care at all. We're going to act like we love gay people, even though we don't care at all. We'll do that. And then people went to Occupy Wall Street and said, see, we did that. Good. And they went, yes. Boom. End of Occupy Wall Street. I wish I was lying. End of Occupy Wall Street. We won. Why? They decided to do some training with Ibram X. Kendi and say white people are bad. We won. Oh, okay. And then the rich people said, the 1% said, so we just got to play this dumb game. We get to keep all our money, all of it. We don't give anything back, nothing. We can keep screwing them over and keep just printing money and just take the money from them and make sure that nothing ever gets better. Yeah. We just got to say we like gay people and stuff. Yeah, say like some trans people. Oh, I love trans people. I get to keep all money, all of it. Trans people are great. Every once in a while, like do like a land acknowledgement and say white people are bad. You can keep everything. In fact, you can get a third yacht. Just say white people are bad. White people are terrible. No, the worst. Third yacht, please. That's what happened. So that is Occupy Wall Street. That's how it actually happened. And that's the outcome. The outcome was worse culture war than ever and no actual change in the economic structure of America at all. In fact, it just got worse. Yeah. So, and that sounds horrible, but it's true. So, all righty. So I did that one. Explain Occupy Wall Street. I appreciate that. We walked down that road. Okay. Oh, did somebody mention that? Hold on. I'm seeing if someone was talking about that. Yep. There we go. Okay. We covered that one too. Stop the madness. Occupy Wall Street and Tea Party were two sides of the same movement. There's a part of that that's true, but a part that's not. And what I mean by that is they were both rebellion movements, but the Tea Party was actually trying to be a part of or take over the Republican Party in some way. Occupy Wall Street wasn't doing that. But yes, they're both rebellion. I agree. But the Tea Party was actually attempting to make political change. They didn't, and they just got co-opted. And he goes on. He says, they're both hijacked. Kind of. They were both fooled, is what I would say. They were both fooled by the people who they were supposed to trying to work with. So yeah, they were both fooled. I think yes. So, but yeah. So, All righty. I want to grab some more of these again. You guys going back and forth a lot on your own, which I love. That is amazing. So if I can find some, I always try to be, to the best of my ability, as open as I can and grab as many of these as I possibly can. Missy says, use the join button to become a member. You get priority comments, special panel shows, special opportunities, a great community, and more. $6.99 per month. And that supports the show. Yes, it does. Now, hold on. Let me give you, I actually have, if I can find it, I have a date that I think I'm going to do on my member show. My member show looks like it's going to be December 4th. So yes, if you are a member, I'm going to be posting this in on the chats. I'm sorry. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube and on Facebook and such. If you are a member on YouTube, not Facebook, YouTube, Sharpe Way YouTube, I'm going to be posting this on Sharpe Way YouTube. If you're a member, if you want to come on the show, you will be with me like a guest. And it'll be 3 total, me plus 3 altogether. Everyone can watch. It's not a special show for members to watch, members to be on. It will be December 4th. So if you want to do that, please jump on board. You can if you want to. Become a member is a great way of supporting the show. Click that join button. It's $6.99 per month. It's an expensive coffee per month. So one of them special drinks that lots of sugar and like foam and stuff, it's one of those. So if you don't have those, what are you missing? Nothing. Join. If you do have those, I'm sorry. I hope you can miss 1 per month. Either way, good. So if you can do that, please do that. I love that if you can. But no matter what, subscribe to Sharpe Way on YouTube. And when you do, select all notifications. All of them. Larry, I don't want to give you $7. Okay, you don't have to. Please do so. But if you don't have to. What you can do is click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. That's free. You don't give me any money for that one. Lima India Kilo Echo. And repost this someplace if you would. It makes sense. And make sure wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is, please either subscribe to this channel or page or follow it, whatever the case may be. Every little bit counts. I'm trying to grow, as you see. I need help growing. So please help me grow. All righty. I'm going to grab some more if I can. Anyway, says, Pelosi's retiring. Do you think the people of San Francisco will elect someone worse? No, I don't. I don't. I think they've learned from Newsom a bit, and they've learned from Ro Khanna, who is in the same area. So I do not think it'll be worse. I don't. It'll still be a Democrat, obviously, but it won't. The Democrat will probably be like some Democrat is my assumption. That's what I think is going to happen. So yes. All righty. Mike goes on to say, youth have been trained that they are entitled and it should be instantaneous. Uber, communication, etc. Expectations are unrealistic. But Sovietism, I think you mean Sovietism? Is it Soviet? Whatever that is. Yes, that. And or is that socialism? And Dems, it's kind of the same thing. Have no solution. That's why Pelosi retired. The youth do want things quickly, and I think many do. But there's something more than entitled. I think they are entitled, but there's something more to it. And again, you hear me say, I actually have more sympathy for millennials and Gen Z than most do. Most people are like, they're just entitled, they're just lazy, whatever. I go back to how they actually feel, most of them. And I speak to many of them. And that is, they feel like they've been cheated, like they've been robbed. They were told a lie, which is true. They were told a lie. If you do these things, you will get these things. And they did. And everyone told them that. The media told them that. Their parents told them that. The teachers told them that. The guidance counselor told them that. The government told them that. The culture told them. Everyone told them that. Well, you're a teenager. You're a kid. And all your culture tells you that. We're going to, he needs to be smart. No, he's a kid. She's a kid. Your culture tells you that. Of course you're going to believe it. Of course you are. And they did. And it was a lie. And they feel like, see that? You guys lied to me. You owe me because you lied to me. You defrauded me. You told me to waste my money. Now I'm in debt. Now I got a garbage degree and I can't get anywhere and I can't get a house and I can't get a car and I can't get a girlfriend, boyfriend. I can't get all this stuff. You guys lied to me. To hell with you. And what do they see? They see the older guys, mostly older guys, the boomers, doing great. And look at me going, you just got to work hard, son. And they're like, I did work hard. And what did I get? Nothing. So I don't think it's as simple as that is what I would say. D says, been saying the no plan, bad plan in a MAGA chat for the last week. We're talking about Cuomo today. And somebody said, well, you're always the one that says GOP has no plan. Maybe they're listening. Ooh, I hope so. I like that. Yes. The Tasteful Thickness says, but Mamdani hates white people. I think Mamdani might hate some white people, but those who write him checks and vote for him, you don't hate them. You don't hate them at all. So, not all of them, at least. That's for sure. Not all of them. So, all righty. Where am I? Bronna says, Mayor for life, Marion Barry. There we go. Yes. Rick says, I think elementary school teachers are required to have a degree in queer Marxism. That would be a fun degree, at least. At least it would be that. It would be fun. So, yes. Okay. Working on this one here. Mike says, I'm older and wiser than you, Larry. Nicely done. Age is a benefit. What distinguished too. So there. Nicely done. Nice retort. Nicely done. Yes. Matt Manau says, hot for Aaron Gray? Check. Voted for both Pro and Nader? Check. It's official. Larry and Aaron are twins. It's true. It's true. Yes. Kim says, 100% Mike Voss. I'm older than both of you. And then Mike goes, you win, Kim. True. Kim does win. Yes. Absolutely. Matt says, all three of you old enough to be my parents, so take that. Yes. All righty. Let me keep going down here if I can. Andrea says, I think the Libertarian Party needs a Gen Z spokesman. We had a millennial spokesman. We had Jace. It didn't work well. I mean, why? You mean do you mean a spokesperson who is Gen Z or someone who speaks to Gen Z? Which one of those? I'm not sure which one you're thinking. I don't know. Maybe, but is Gen Z going to be open to libertarian stuff? I think yes, they could be. I think it's possible that they could be open to it. I think yes. We have to add hope. The problem is most libertarian spokespeople either sound selfish, which they don't like at all, or they talk out of theory. You'd have to have one who could speak to them, who'd be young enough and could still speak in a way that would give them hope. That's not easy. So, yeah. So it looks like Kim and Matt are yelling at each other. Kim says, okay, I'll take that, Matt. Now go to your room. You're not my real mom, Kim. You're not my real mom. You can't tell me what to do. Of course. So, yes. All righty. Mike goes on to say, a little J, Occupy was a bunch of people pissed off about 1,000 different things. True. They accomplished nothing. True. As they had no plan of focus. True. Just like no kings, just propaganda. No, kings had something. It was hatred of Trump. Occupy didn't have that. Right? No kings did have something. And it was, we hate Trump. Just it was, we hate Trump. But was it propaganda? Yes. No plan? Yes. No focus? No. Had focus. The one difference that no kings had was it did have focus. Occupy Wall Street did not have focus. That one did, though. So a little bit difference. That's all. The focus was, we hate Trump. That's true. All righty. See if I can do this again here. I love the back and forth, guys. I do appreciate it. Really, it's just Larry land. That's kind of where it goes. That's the only place those private prisons are. They're nowhere near. They're nowhere near where we would be. I mean, yeah, they're nowhere near there at all. So, okay, I'm grabbing some more of these if I can. I love you guys going back and forth. Half of this I don't even talk to. So, Dao, is that pick? My college student nephew refused to vote in the 2016 election because he said it has no impact. He decided to duopoly his game. If young men are voting now, what's changed in 2016 for this age gap? I tell you what it is. As I always say, people don't change because things are bad. That's not what they change. People always say, Larry, how bad's it got to be before people change? Doesn't matter. Things have to be bad and there must be hope, right? And the most recent examples of that were Obama and Trump. Obama literally had hope and change. That was the left side of hope and change. And Trump had Make America Great Again. And that was the right side of hope and change. But they were both hope. Both of those were hope. They were different messages, different audiences, but they both did hope. You had a whole lot of young men wearing MAGA hats thinking we're going to make America great again. That was hope. You had a whole bunch of people with Obama O going, we're going to have hope and change. It's true. Left and right both had hope. In both cases, those won. So what changed was hope, right? If they actually had hope. Many people, when they got rid of Bernie, lost hope. Many did. They thought the system's broken. The Democrats will never let him win. There is no hope. That's it. I think that happened. I think that was different. So, yeah. All righty. Liberty says, Larry's traveling. This is the last stream of the radio show on Monday at 1 p.m. True. Go watch some shorts, reels on all the Sharpe medias. Let's go to the podcast medias. Thank you, guys. Yes, please do that. She's right. Yes, I will be traveling. I'm out. See if I can find it. Do I have my, I don't even know if I have my, let me see if I can find where I am going. I think it's here, is it? Yes, it is. There we go. See if I can open this up. Here we go. All right. So if we look at this, and you will see where I'm going. Thank you, D. I will pop this out the way. And why is this here? I don't know. There we go. All right. So Friday, November 7th, which is tomorrow, I will be at the Skyview Restaurant in Kingston, New York at 12:30. I'll be at the Parting Glass in Saratoga Springs, New York at 6 p.m. That's tomorrow. Saturday, I'll be at the Village Roast Coffee Shop in Keysville, New York at 10 a.m. At 2:30, I'll be at Amado in Tupper Lake, New York. 7 p.m., I'll be at the Prinzios in Clayton, New York. By the way, Saturday, all three of those, North Country. Heading to North Country, right? Clayton is right by the Canadian border, like on the St. Lawrence River, like right by the Canadian border. So New York State is a border state. For those who don't know, it's true. We are a border state. So yeah, right there. So yeah. And then Sunday, I will be in Cooperstown at 11 a.m., Upstate Bar and Grill. So this will be the last run of my Full Sharpe 7. I'll be starting Full Sharpe 8 in about a week or two after that. So yes, there we go. I will be there. If you guys want to stop by and say hi, please do so. Again, as always, that's the same thing. If you can come on by, buy a cup of coffee, buy a Coke or a soda or beer, whatever, a beverage of your choice. If you are in a good financial spot, please buy a meal there and support the local shops. So there we go. So I appreciate that, Dee. Thank you so much. The people now know that I will indeed be out and about. So yeah. All righty. So we have been talking about back and forth, that piece, right? The idea of how, left hope was Obama, right hope was Make America Great Again. That's true. Sadly, I feel like we're getting more and more and more partisan. But where can you talk about that? You knew it was civil. You always know it's civil because it is always civil. Civil has a new special piece that's been popping up consistently. It's Words and Numbers. And Words and Numbers is a civil only piece of media. If you want to check it out, here's a little piece of it.
Today on Words and Numbers, sports gambling,
false scarcity,
YouTube TV,
and the fracturing of political parties.
All this and more coming up on Words and Numbers, a Civil original production. Check us out at civil.com. That's CIVL.com.
He's not wrong. And that's the cool part. You look down, they give you exactly what you're going to be talking about. Here, at every mark, introduction, scarcity, economic fear, self-sufficiency, the benefits of global trade. That sounds kind of libertarian. Yes, trust, trade, peace between nations. Sounds libertarian again. Water rights, economics of groundwater. Innovation. Everyone down. Sports betting, UFC scandals, all the way down. Talking about each and everything they're talking about. And then more cool things underneath it. And by the way, here's Ro Khanna. I was just talking about that guy. Look at that. Civil knew what I was talking about. It's magical. Civil is a place to be, to actually be able to get good information, to have good back and forth, to learn how to even discuss these things with your friends and family, to have good, important conversations to ensure that not only are you able to go back and forth, but maybe even influence people or be influenced. That's what matters. Maybe you're wrong. I mean, I'm not, but maybe you're wrong. It's possible, right? CIVL.com. The code is Larry10. Larry, the coolest name on the internet. 10 for 10% off. You can check this out. And here's the best part. I'm on Civil too. What, Larry, you're on Civil? True. There are 6 We Fix It Wednesdays only on Civil. But Larry, I want to watch those and I don't want to go on Civil. Well, you're out of luck, my friend, because they're only on Civil. That's it. Pony up. Civil. CIVL.com. Code Larry10 for 10% off. Enjoy Civil. Look, as I always say, you get good conversations here without the conflict machine. You can upgrade civilization on civil.com. All righty. So you knew I was going to say that, but I kind of, yeah, it's kind of my thing, right? Of course it is. Yes. Look, these things matter to me because this show is about good conversations back and forth. It's about talking about real stuff back and forth. Civil does that too, right? I mean, it's perfect for the show. That's why. So I appreciate that. I'm going to grab some of this if I can. All righty. Phil, thank you for $2, says, save a horse, ride the Sharpe train. See, because you love horses. I do too. We all love them. I appreciate the Sharpe train. And here it comes. Daniel, thank you for the gifted Sharpe membership. Guys, if you want a membership, please grab them. Remember, the members show is going to be December 4th at 8 p.m. So it's a Thursday. Usually they're Fridays, but I'm traveling. This campaign makes me travel. I try not to, but they force me. So I have to do it. So yes, Phil also gifted a membership. Thank you, Phil. Johnson also gifted a membership. Guys, grab the memberships. Each one matters. They do matter. Please do so. Get on board. Now you got a shot at showing up to the membership show. It's fun. I've done like 4 or 5 of them already. I forgot how many I've done. They're fun. People come on. And here's the best part. You now get to see, as we keep going back and forth, you get to you could link a face to the actual people in the chat. So you know who they are. Oh, yeah, that's that guy. Oh, that's that guy. That's what Phil looks like. I didn't know that. That's what Daniel looks like. I had no idea. There we go. Yes. And you'll be disappointed they aren't as good looking as I am. True, but they're still good looking. I'm just saying, it's good looking people. Andrea was here. She's good looking. So yes, she is. I mean, no one's good looking as me. That's true. Andrea, you're still awesome. But it is me, I'm just saying. So yes, Andrea was here also. And she's also gifting a Sharpe membership. I appreciate that. So yes, they're all gifting. Please grab them. And you have a shot at coming on. And when you come on, you go, oh, that's the person who I yelled at. That's the person who yelled at Mike. Yeah, that's the guy who yells at Mike. Yes, you'll now know who yells at Mike. That you'll know the person. You'll be able to put a face to it. Isn't that cool? Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All righty. Daniel says, I haven't signed up for SEAL Team Sharpe yet, but doing my part on social media, I'm the little I'm on. Oh, thank you. Every bit does count, guys. I'm serious. I know I'm always saying like 1,000 times, click the like button. How social media works now is absolutely about engagement. That's what matters. Engagement. So the more you're clicking, the more you're sharing, the more you're, putting on comments, the better. So yes, thank you for that, Daniel. It matters. All right, matters a two-parter. Larry, do you think the Israel lobby is going full smash mouth in how obvious they're attacking people like Tucker, anti-Semitism, this and that, to in fact make people hate them so much they can be like, see, and it's anti-Semitism everywhere. Yes. Look, I want to be clear on two things because I'm going to get the all police to get me. Of course, there's anti-Semitism. It's not just in America. It's across the globe. Of course, has been for, I don't know, millennia. Who knows how long, right? I mean, a long time, however long. I'm not Jewish, so I don't know the history, but I'm sure if you're Jewish, you know, it's a long damn time there's been anti-Semitism. Of course there is. Yes. Is there anti-Semitism everywhere? No, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. That's just like there's Republican propaganda, there's Democratic propaganda, there's Israeli propaganda. It's not as bad as they say it is. It just isn't. Is it bad? Yes, it exists, but there's a level, right? And the problem is when you have people say everything you say negative about either Israel or a specific Jewish person is anti-Semitism, it's the same as in the past. The Israel lobby is just becoming like the woke mob, right? They called everybody an Israelophobe to the point when nobody cared about being called an Israelophobe. They didn't care anymore. They're like, whatever, I don't care, right? That's happening now in anti-Semitism. You're calling everybody, like if I have a Jewish friend who I think is a jerk, and I go, that guy's an ass. They go, anti-Semitism. No. It's just that guy. That guy isn't that one guy. He's an ass. Well, he's Jewish. Okay, I don't care if he's Jewish. He's an ass. Well, no, anti-Semitism. That starts happening to the point where now when you have real anti-Semitism, and you see it already. Nick Fuentes. I shouldn't say his name. I'm going to freaking, God damn it. I already said it. I'm probably now demonetized. Anyway, Nick F. Clearly anti-Semite. I mean, clearly, obviously, openly, clearly. He's mainstream now. Why? Because you called everybody anti-Semite. That's what happens. I say it all the time. If you call everybody an Isterophobe, nobody's an Isterophobe. Well, if you call everybody anti-Semite, nobody's anti-Semite. No one cares. And now this guy's mainstream. And he's an actual anti-Semite. Like, they exist. They're right there. And they're like, you know who we're going to call? Somebody else. Anyone who doesn't like what Israel is doing is now an anti-Semite. It's silly. It was a bad move. But to be forward, it goes back to what many people do. They don't know any of that. They don't know the trick. Right? The left wokesters are the same as the right wokesters. They don't know any difference. It's when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. So yes. And what winds up happening is you actually create people who don't like Israel more. You make Israel more of a pariah state by doing this. This is harmful to Israel. And I actually saw this. I was talking to a friend of mine a year ago when this was happening. I'm like, this is a problem for Israel. She's like, why? I said, they're making more people anti-Israel by calling everybody an anti-Semite. She's like, but they are anti-Semites. I said, you can keep saying it if you want to, but if you keep saying it, more people are going to hate Israel, and eventually that's going to affect their dollars, because that's how that works. Eventually, it's going to be time. Look, Israel is very ingrained in American politics. We're going to be supporting them for a long time still. Whether you like it or not, that's going to happen. If you like Israel, good for you. You're still going to get support. If you hate Israel, well, you're in trouble, because we're going to keep supporting them. That's not going to go away. It's just not. So yeah, hope I answer your question. All righty. Let me move on a bit more. Okay. Stop the Man that says Gen Z can be open to it, but there's no chance with Gen Z women. Yeah, Gen Z women is hard. I've met many of them. It's very challenging because they believe that if you're not saying the right words, that you are by default evil. So they won't listen to you. So yeah, they just won't listen to you. So, yep. He goes, I think Maj, if you're going to bigger platform, would be a great to connect with Gen Z. Yes, he's not Gen Z though. But yes, he's not Gen Z. He looks young like I do, but he's not Gen Z. So yeah. All righty. Masterman Hour says the fear of Gen Z leader is why Eric Kirk is a interesting. Okay. Interesting. Andrea says Maj is awesome. Love Maj. Dan says Maj is awesome. True. I love Maj. Absolutely. 100%. I'm all in time there. Yes. All right. Lunatic is in the house. I appreciate that. Absolutely. He is in the house. Okay. I want to keep going down here. As a border state, please keep those Canadians out. We try. It's hard. It's hard. Yes. Mike says, reality is that both major parties have completely lost touch with younger voters. You're right. It's true. Both are trying to solidify their hold while pointing at the opposite and calling them in chaos. Yes. And there's the issue. You've hit it right, which is why I'm saying neither side should think they got it. They don't yet. Neither side, I think you're right, Mike, has solidified the youth vote. If you go back 50 years, it was Democrats. They had the youth vote in the 70s. They had it. Those days are gone. They don't anymore. They've been slowly losing it, and they don't have it anymore. Now they have the older votes for sure. They don't. Now, there's an exception. Individuals have had the vote. If you look at Trump in 2020, Bernie in 2016, Trump in 2024, Mamdani here in 2025, individuals get them as they flock to a leader. They flock to someone who they think is strong. They flock to a leader. I think that happens. But the parties themselves, no, it's much more right now. Cult of personalities are much stronger right now with the youth. That it may be good or bad, but it is. I think to the other point, Charlie Kirk had a large chunk of people who were following him, youngsters. I think also true. Yes. So, all righty. Matt says, Jesus, that civil sound drop always catches me out of nowhere when I'm not paying attention. That's what it's there for, Matt. I'm trying to get you to piss on yourself. That's my goal. One day, let me know when it happens. Then I'll stop playing it. Like, I'm only going to keep playing it until you piss on yourself. Then I will stop. Then I'll make a new one. I'm like, oh, no. I'll tell the team, guys, Matt pissed himself. We can new one. Like, okay. That's the goal. So, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to actually just stop even introing. I'm just going to play it just to get you to piss yourself. So we'll see. I'm hoping. Look, I can have dreams, Matt, okay? I can have dreams. Don't take my dreams away. Okay. All righty. Let me keep going down here. Lil J says, people don't understand. You need a backbone to help people. True. Hurt people. Also true. People bite the hand that feeds them. Sadly, people poop where they eat. Yeah. I didn't like those last ones you said. I don't want those to be true. But often they are. Right? Often they are. Yes. Mike says everyone yells at Mike, including host says AMA. Yeah, but you yell at me too. So yes. Both are true. Yes. That's great. All righty. Let's see here. If I grab this piece here. All righty. All right. Daniel says Cenk has been real good on anti-Israel and releasing the e-files. Look, I got to tell you, I've liked TYT more these last, say, 2 years than I have in the past. Right? I've liked it more than I have in the past couple of years. It's been better. It's still obviously biased clearly, but I think it's been better. I think they've tried to not be the standard left-leaning show, but they've tried to do so. And again, when shows try to be better, I want to reward the good behavior, give credit where credit is due, and I think they are getting better. There was a time when I used to think that TYT was unwatchable. Now it's watchable, and it was unwatchable. CNN's getting better. I said it. It's getting better. It's still, don't watch him like, Larry, what? There's still CNN. Still CNN. But if you watch CNN in, say, 2020, 2022, I mean, compared to now, oh my God, it's unwatchable. It's unwatchable. Now, they got some good stuff. Some you got to cringe away, but some you can actually watch. So yeah, and still I always say, the fairest guy, the fairest of the guys on CNN is still Michael Smakanis Saturday morning. Of CNN people, he is the fairest. He's the fairest of the bunch, no doubt. And he gets yelled at because of it. He does. John says, anti-Semitism now, the claims of racism 10 or 12 years ago. The phrase has been watered down. Yes. You're absolutely right. And that's not good for Jewish people. This is not a good thing, right? I always said this, wokeism created more bigots. It was supposed to stop them. It created more of them. Anti-racism created more racists. It absolutely did. And I know that's true. You can see it. Yes. So it's not a problem. So, all righty. John goes on to say, I have more of a problem with Nick for liking Stalin more than his bigotry. That's funny. He did say that. He says he's a big fan of Stalin. Are you a big fan of Stalin? And supposedly Nick is right-wing? Is Stalin a right-winger now? When did that happen? Mike, you a right-winger. When did Stalin become a right-winger? I don't remember that happening. That must be new. Is that like sainthood? Like you can now he's a saint. Okay, now he's a righty. Is that what happens? I don't know how that happens. I've never heard that before. But I guess if you're Nick F, you could just do that, I guess. That's where I've never known that to be true. All right. That's it. I'm going to have Mike now. See, Stalin. He's one of yours, Mike. You didn't know that, did you? I don't know how that happened, but I guess that happened. So, yes. Matt says, Larry, did you ever rock an afro? We'll love to see some afro-licious Larry. I did. I ended my afro once I got into the Marine Corps. I never took it back. In high school, I had one for a while. Elementary school, I had one for a while. So, yes. I can grow an afro. It is the thing I can grow. And I did in the 70s and early 80s. I had a little bit of an afro. But then once I did the Marine Corps, I shaved and I never went back. Now my hair is rarely, you can see, my hair is rarely longer than this. Yeah. I got used to not having one, and now I don't. And it's not really in. I mean, it was, when I was little, a lot of guys had afros. It wasn't like I was the only guy who had one. A lot of guys did. So it was kind of the thing. Now no one has it. Well, some people do, but I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't fit me. But maybe one day, maybe I'll mess around. I'll get one. Let my hair grow out. Get a big old afro. Maybe. Yeah, why not? But my hair is like it's not fully, but it is. It's like a little bit. I got that mixed hair. So it doesn't exactly do what it should do. But anyway. Okay. Phil says, it's actually kind of funny. Dave Smith called Israeli identitarianism woke right. Yeah, I agree. That's true. Woke right. Yes. The pro-Zionism people co-opted the phrase because you agree with the woke on this issue. Now you woke right. Yes. Because look, they literally said, we can't just be, pro-Israel. We got to be we can't just be anti-Semitic. We have to be anti-Semitic or something like that. They said something like that. I mean, they were like, whatever. They went down that road. I forgot what the thing, but it didn't make sense when the BLMers did it, and didn't make sense when the pro-Israeli people did it either. It was, it's bad either way. But speaking about identitarianism, it's a good segue. It's a very good segue, Phil, because how does someone feel about that in general? Is it still valid? Doesn't matter. We're kind of talking about it now, right? The idea of, our young men, is that the demographic? Is that we're looking for? Is that the swing vote now or not, right? Is it, pro-Israelis or not? What is it? Well, perfect timing then. If you would do me a favor, because it is literally the perfect time for you to take yourself over and to theadvocates.org, if you would do so. You can click the link that is specifically in the description on YouTube and Facebook and Rumble. Go to that link specifically, because that link lets them know that I gave them over to you, that you came through me. So please click that link specifically, head on over there, and then click on the link that says, if you look at it right there, it says single issue surveys. Click on that link and head over to the Identity, Politics, and Political Correctness survey. Take that survey. They're going to be talking specifically about identity politics. We're talking about it. Exactly. So here we go. First one. Claims about systemic racism should primarily be, and you answer the one that's closest to you, supported by the best available statistics and evidence, or accepted as the voices of the oppressed in the lived experience, or downplayed because such claims are getting way overblown. Click the one that you like, whichever one you think is appropriate, and when you're done clicking, go to the next one. When someone says power with reference to a society, which of the following is closest to your conception, right? Your conception of power. The means by which majority groups oppress minority groups, the means by which authorities force people to comply, the means by which media companies are able to silence or deplatform dissenting voices. Which one is closest to you? And move on. You see, they keep going. These are interesting questions. Which of the following most closely aligns with your beliefs about gender identity and common facilities, such as restrooms or locker rooms that are open to the public? Remember this one? All people should be able to choose their gender identity and thus accordingly which facilities they would like to use. Or owners of facilities that are open to the public should be able to set their own policies about who can use each facility. Gender is determined at birth, so the law should direct people to use facilities according to what's written on the birth certificates. Which one's right? Which one's closest to what you think? As you think about this, just those three questions, there's more. But now you're thinking, where's my head? Which one's closest? What's going on? If you send this to someone else, they are now doing it too. If you show them your results and you share it, now they can start talking about it. How'd you answer that one about this? How'd you answer? Why? Now we're having conversations. We're not yelling at each other. There is no conflict machine, as I mentioned before. Now we're chatting back and forth about what we thought and what really matters. We're having better conversations and thinking, how can we self-govern? This is what the advocates for self-government are all about. They are all about this. The advocates for self-government are getting you to start thinking and changing culture and having good conversations. So please, this is free. Cost you nothing. Heading over there, click that link that I told you about. Go there, go to single issue surveys. Take this specific one, write down, take the identity politics and political correctness survey, answer all the questions. At the end, share it. Let people see it. It does matter. Timing's perfect for now. Do that. Support the advocates. Support the show. It's free. Thanks, guys. And by the way, thank you, Phil, for setting me up. I appreciate it. Good setup. I don't know if you made it on purpose, but it totally worked. So yes. All righty. Let me see if I can grab some more of these. All righty. Okay. D says, so what's Larry's opinion of the right having a cow over massively remarrying? Well, here's what I'll say. Massey's about my age. Not saying who's older. About my age. Clearly, I'm better looking than Massey. But that's fine. It's fine. And he married a woman about 20 years his junior. That's what I would say. Well done, Thomas. That's all I would say. You might go, wait a minute. But his wife just passed. First off, his wife passed over a year ago. Second, maybe he's lonely. Or was lonely. Maybe he was lonely. He was with her for what, 30 years? Is that right? 30 some odd years? He was with her for a long time. And she was gone. And maybe that rocked him. And here's what I know. I know Thomas Massey. We're not buddies. We're not buddies, but I do know him, but we're not buddies. Here's what I'm sure of. He adored his wife. I know that to be true. I remember him talking about her. One split time, we're at a table. We're all at a table together. Freedom Fest, maybe? One of those events, like a Freedom Fest or an Atlas or one of those events. I forgot which one it was at. We're all at a table together talking. His wife had passed. He's talking about her. And when he was talking about her, there was such reverence in his voice, and he had tears in his eyes. This is the guy who can fight Trump, and there's reverence in his voice and tears in his eyes. He actually loved her and respected her. And there's a lot of marriages that cannot say that. And that's sad, but it's true. If you are married or know people who are married, you know there are a lot of marriages who can't say that. So I know he loved her and he respected her. I'm sure of that. No doubt in my mind. I read people pretty well. It's kind of my job. He did. I know he was close. And I know that her dying really affected him. Like it really hit him hard. He was not prepared for it. It hit him very hard. Look, anytime you lose your spouse, it sucks. There's no good way of losing your spouse. But the reality of it is you do need to understand where he came from. He was really lonely. And maybe now he's not. Look, 2 consenting adults, good for him. A woman 20 years his junior, nicely done. That's my opinion. So I did answer it. So people think because it's about a year and a half out that it's too early. If it was 3 months out, yes, but it's something else. Look, I'll go one step further with this, since you asked. A man in his 50s doesn't want to date for 10 years. He wants to move forward with whomever he wants to be with. He wants to move forward. He wants to vet someone quickly, and he wants to move forward. That's what he wants to do. He is, what do the women say? I want a man who dates with intention. Date a 50-year-old. They have intention, or they don't. It's very obvious. It'll be screaming obvious. We don't have time. 30-year-old, they got time. 20-year-old, tons of time. 50-year-old, they got time. So, yeah. So I'm sure he was like, he vetted her quickly, thought, that'll work. I'm lonely. I like her. I love her. I want to be with her. Let's get married. Done deal. That's what I think happened. That's that part I don't know. I know Thomas Massey, but I don't know how that worked, but I believe that. That is what I think happened. So anyway, okay. Matt goes on to say, doesn't Massey know you're supposed to cheat on your wife instead of remarrying after they pass? True. That's what you're supposed to do. But Massey is a rebel. So he's like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. All right. Let me head it over to have a couple more on Rumble here if I can. I already picked that one up. Can members/subscribers on Rumble be part of that panel show? You know what? Yes. I didn't know. I will. I will. Yes. The answer is yes. So if you're a member on Rumble, please let me know you want to be on, and I'll see if I can grab you too. Yes. The answer is yes. Thank you for that. I was not sure, but yes, the answer is true. Okay. Let me keep moving. John says, I'm happy Massey remarried. Nobody should be forced to live lonely. And he was. His wife was a very big part of his life. She was a very big part of his life. And her passing really, I mean, they were out together, doing things together all the time. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let me go down here if I can. Okay. Let's see. Mastermind said, and did a 180 so fast that it gave me, I'm not sure where that went. That wasn't for me, was it? Okay, that probably wasn't for me. Okay, no worries. Didn't I read some Rumble comments already? Didn't I read some more? I thought I did. I think I read some. I'm sorry. Maybe I haven't done enough of those. So maybe I should do more of those. All righty. Daniel says, Nick is holding out a hand for people who are drowning. Yes, you're not wrong. What Nick does well, and again, I try to give credit where credit is due. I am obviously not a Nick F fan, just because I got to be clear. I'm obviously not a Nick F fan, obviously. He wants me to be put in jail, and my family also. He literally said so. So yes, he does. That's what he wants. I get it. But it doesn't mean that if you are a young gentleman, specifically a young white male, specifically, but he does bring in others. In fact, there's a thing that there's women who love him. I'm not joking. That's like a group of people. It's a thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. But yes, and he's saying things that make you feel strong, that make you feel good. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And he is strong. Yes, absolutely. There we go. Mike did not like that Stalin thing. I knew you wouldn't. I knew you wouldn't. Yes. Screw you, Larry. NF, Nick F, and Stalin are only for rifle ranges, to say it politely. I like that. That's good. I knew you'd love that. John says, nobody likes Stalin, not even Stalin. True, except Nick F. He does. He does. I don't know. So, yes. All righty. Let's see. Where are those picks? Larry Fro picks. Let's go. No. I hope there are none. If there aren't any, I'll burn them. No, it's fine. Not at all. 3-Eye Atlas continues to amaze. Do you believe the Earth has been visited by off-worlders? I do not. I don't think it's off-worlders. Why do I say that? Phil says, check your email, lol. Uh-oh. Why did I check you made me check my email now? Why? What's in my email now that's so damn important? Hold on. Better be good, Phil. You gave me a super chat, so I got to go do it now. Now I have to do it. Thanks for nothing. All right, hold on. What's in my email that's so good? It's not a great pick of me. No, I'll pop it up, but it's not a great pick. Hold on. It's not a great pick. It's an okay pick. It's not a great pick. Phil used some AI to get a pick of me, and with a fro. But that's not how my fro looks. So AI did not do a good job. And when I had a fro, I had no gray. So hold on, let me show you guys this. It's mediocre, not great. Mediocre. It's not really me. I didn't have gray hair when I had a beard. I didn't have a gray beard when I had a fro. I did wear shirts like that though. That's you got me on that one, Phil. I did wear shirts like that, but yeah. No. And my hair I have like that half hair. Remember, I'm black on my father's side. So yeah, you gotta change the AI. You gotta let the AI know that the person doesn't have fully black hair and no gray. So gotta add those pieces to it. So I'm sorry about that, but you gotta be doing a little bit more when it comes to when it comes to AIing. There we go. Is that a thing? It is now. All right. So I did it. I checked it. I did. Absolutely. Okay. All righty. I'll grab here. Daniel says, I still rock the white boy comb over. Okay. I like that. All right. Mike says at one point I had a 14-inch afro. Damn. We called it the Angela Davis fro. Long time ago. It's coming back now. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could. I just never thought it was a cool thing. Let me go back though. Do I believe the world is visited by off-worlders? No, I don't. If you notice, Rick, when they talk about the stuff they've seen, they don't say extraterrestrial. They don't say that. What they say is non-human. What does that mean? They don't say UFOs anymore. They've changed the words because if they get caught, they don't want to say that it was aliens. They never said it was aliens. They didn't say it was aliens. They didn't say it was extraterrestrials. They said non-human. Larry, what are you saying? I'm saying if there's anything special out there, I'm going back with the old Doctor Who sea devils. What does that mean? There's another form of life, another form of humans, another form of something that may still be on this planet someplace. Maybe underground, maybe someplace like that, maybe something like that. Could be something like that, if there is anything like that or not. And here's why. For some off-worlder to visit us, the closest possible planet is something like 7 or 8 light years away. The closest is like 7 or 8 light years away. right? Something like that, some ungodly amount of number. Yeah, something like that. So no, I'm sorry, is it? It's more than that, right? Whatever. It's a huge amount. It's like, no, it's like, hold on. Anyway, it's really far away. So you'd have to have some species that will be able to somehow scan the universe or galaxy in some way, figure out what planets have life on them that's intelligent, be able to either come close to the speed of light or somehow go faster. Now, according to Einstein, you cannot go faster than the speed of light. So maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. Assuming Einstein is correct, you can't go faster than the speed of light. So the fastest they can go is the speed of light, right? They can't go any faster than that. So it's multiple year long trip to get over here to find us, then to go back. The type of technology that you would have to do that, we would be maybe ants to them. I mean, whatever you could imagine, bugs to them. We would be bugs to them. They would show up. They would look at our planet. If there was something they wanted, they would just take it. We couldn't stop them. Their technology would be so far ahead of us. And if they were getting rid of us, they wouldn't use like guns or bombs. And that's what TV shows. That's not what would work. I'm going to go back to Doctor Who again. When the Daleks were trying to take over planets, what would they do? Neutron bombs, chemical warfare, biological warfare. They would basically use this equivalent of insecticide to get rid of the people. So they would grab us, probe us, maybe they do, see what we need. They'd have a genetic thing that would destroy us, either chemical or biological. They want whatever they want. Do they care about gold or oil? I don't know what they care, whatever. For the sake of argument, they care about, I don't know, rare earth minerals. Maybe they do, who knows? If they care about that, they would go to the area where it has rare earth minerals. If there's humans there, do their humanicide to destroy us, just kill us off, take the stuff and leave. We'd be bugs in their way. They wouldn't care. They take what they want. None of that's happened. So that's why I will say no to off-worlders. I don't think it's true. I think they would just be taking things if that were the case. The technology would be so high that they would just take whatever they wanted. That's my assumption. And not just that. If we have AI, they would have an AI that was so superior to that they would know what we were thinking already before it even happened, that kind of thing. Again, I'll go back to Doctor Who, one of the earlier episodes, when they asked the Daleks how long will it take to conquer the planet. They were like 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Done. Why? Well, we'll trash this, trash that, trash this, take what we want, we're done. Control the planet. Done. So yeah, I would answer, I don't think so. But maybe, I don't think so. If there's anything here, it is another form of human or another form of something that lives on the planet with us. They share our planet. That's why they always say non-human technology. They don't say extraterrestrial. If you haven't noticed, I noticed the difference immediately. We always say it's aliens. They didn't say that. Did not say that. So anyway, a little interesting stuff. This is what happens on AMAs, I guess. You get crazy stuff like that. So yes. Okay, let me keep going here now. All righty. Brian says, I missed the 70s when all my black friends had afros. I would have been one of your black friends, brother. Yes, absolutely. So Daniel says, only a select few can pull off the mullet. True. Phil says, she's my age. Phil, if Massey was gay, you were his. Damn it. What are you going to do? Another life, man. Another life. So, all righty. Matt says, Tom's payday. I'm fitting to get back in Jimmy Dore's chat with them super chats. Talk to Larry. Thank you. I need them. Yes. Thank you. I need the help. Absolutely. So Phil says, Thomas Massey was tweeting about his wife a few weeks before he was remarried. The love never died. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? How do you marry someone who's a widow or a widower who didn't really, who like may still be in love, right? May still be comparing you to someone who you can never match up to. I mean, I remember when my father died. I mean, we deified him. I mean, he was by no means a perfect man. I mean, not at all. He's not a perfect man at all. But we deified him because he died. So I feel like when that happens, you kind of deify him. So yeah. All righty. Hold on. All right. Now we are talking, Phil. Okay. I got something for you, Mike. I got something for you, Mike. Hold on. Phil is the AI champion for the evening. AI champ. Mike, I hope you're watching. If you're not watching, you start watching right now because Phil hooked you up. Ta-da. It is Michael Voss with the afro. Getting some. I love this pick. This is now my favorite pick of Mike. This is now my favorite picture of Mike. As of now, my favorite pick. There is no doubt. I'm even gonna move the rest of it. This is my favorite pick of Mike right now. Done. Done and done. Yes. Should put a little bit of gray in there, though. A little bit of gray. A little bit of gray. He dyed it. Mike dyed it. So he dyed it. So good. Amazing. Okay, this is the greatest AMA ever done in the history of AMAs. Just saying. It absolutely is. There's no doubt. So, guys, click the like button. You know it's fun. And share, repost if you can. It doesn't matter. Subscribe to this channel. I'm asking you to do so. Please do so. Subscribe to the channels. It does matter. I know I bug you, but it has to be. So, yes. All right. I'm keep going down here if I can. The fro picture. Yeah, it is good. All right. The mouth is wrong. It's true. It's true. Absolutely. All righty. If I can grab that one down. Yes, Silurians. Thank you. Yes, the Silurians. Correct. The Silurians were also, oh, yes, it was Silurians. Correct. Matt, the lizard people do exist. Mm-hmm. Bigfoot's real. I don't think Bigfoot's real. I don't think that's true, but maybe. Hollow Earth theory. Maybe. Maybe. There we go. 4 light years. Proxima Centauri. Yes, that's the closest. Right? So assuming there's one there. What if there's not one there? The closest planet we know is something like, I don't know, 20 light years away, whatever the hell it is that we think might have it. It's like that. So, yeah, absolutely. All righty. Rick says, fold space. Yes, it's possible. That's possible. So if you could fold space, imagine what type of technology you have to have if you could fold space. I mean, crazy, right? Crazy. Absolutely. Yeah, it says humanicide. Yes, it'd be humanicide. Trash it. Humanicide. Right? They would come in and go, we want to grab whatever the thing is that they care about. I don't know what it is, right? If there's anything on this planet they even care about. They may have enough AI to where they can create whatever they need, in which case this would just be like a tourist spot for them or something, or maybe a scientific experiment or something. And then they would need us to just come in, grab a bunch of us for science, however they would do so. And then it probably wouldn't be them. It would probably be a machine. We use drones now. It would be some type of drone machine, right? It'd be some kind of drone. They probably wouldn't come themselves. There'd be some kind of drone that would come, look around. Hey, here's some people. Here's some things. Oh, look, there's whatever. We think wood's important or whatever. Let's go get some wood. And there's people in the way. Humanicize, grab the wood, walk away or fly away, whatever, fly back. I don't think they'd even use themselves. They would use some form of drone or robot or something like that, of course. So, all righty. Masterman says, I don't think they're aliens as much as they are simulation IT admins. Oh, nice. We're all in a simulation. And though that's like the glitch in the Matrix. So good. So good. Rich says 7 minutes. I'm sorry. I thought it was 8. 7 minutes. Okay. He remember better than I do. Yes, absolutely. Minority Threat says, does Larry watch Professor Jiang? I don't. How does he like his videos on secret societies? Damn it. Give me more homework. Phil makes me get emails and you give me homework. People just never let me go. All right. Professor Jiang on secret societies. I don't know. I will check it out. I will check it out. So yes. Matt says the labyrinths in Egypt definitely has me interested that there's more than humans that might have been here. Yeah. Maybe. Absolutely. Could be possible. All right. Let me grab through here. Yeah, that needs to be my new profile picture. 100% yes. 100% yes. Matt says he's crying. Oh, there we go. There we go. See that? Okay. That's a win. Phil, win. Win. Mike choked on my coffee. See that? Win. Well done, Phil. Matt says, listen up, you jive turkeys. Yeah, Mike used to talk that way. Yeah, he used to say that. No, he didn't. But yeah. But I want to believe that Mike talked that way. So I'm just going to believe it, even though I know he didn't. I'm going to believe that Mike used to say jive turkey. I know he didn't, but I'm going to say he did because I just love the fact that he might say that. I love that. He's a bad mo. Hush your mouth. Yes, Talking about Voss. Can you dig it? Yeah, but he'd have to have the black leather jacket, though. You got to have that, too. So, absolutely. Rob Reed says, Gen Z does not need a Gen Z spokesperson. We forgot that Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders broke through with people half their ages. The youth are willing to listen. Valid point, my friend. This is why I was asking. Are we talking about a person who is Gen Z or a person who can speak to Gen Z? I'm with you. I think we can get someone who just speaks to Gen Z. I agree with you, Robert. I think you're right. Wesley, thank you for the $2, my friend. Thank you. I hope that's because the picture of Mike is the reason. It's worth $2. 100%. Totally worth $2. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Absolutely. So, all righty. Daniel says skinwalkers. Okay. Maybe. Okay. All right. John says some thought that ancient aliens were actually from Mars before it lost its atmosphere. That's true. There was a thought process. I think we've kind of debunked it with how much we've seen Mars, but we could be wrong. Suppose it was a thing where Mars, there was a theory, Mars used to have an atmosphere and therefore used to have life. And then the beings that were there, those people realized their planet was dying, and then they made spaceships and came to Earth. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that is what there's a theory that someone said that people talked about that is what might have happened. Now, the question is, when they came here, were they also a form of human? Were they totally different? Were there no humans here? There's another theory that when the aliens came to Earth, that they couldn't adapt to Earth. So to adapt to Earth, they had to modify themselves to adapt to Earth, and they used the most intelligent beings they could find, which were primates. That they literally modified themselves genetically with primates and whoever they were, and then that became humans. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying people have said that. It's just speculation. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? So, yeah, it could be. Matt says, if Homo sapiens are 100,000 years old, it's possible. Sure, it's possible. But I don't know. I don't think it matters. So, Matt goes, and then we got dumb after crash landing. No, it wouldn't be getting dumb. It would be lost knowledge as you integrated with the humans who were here or the primates who were here. So in theory, you would literally, the theory is that the people from Mars literally, they didn't evolve on this planet. And since they couldn't evolve on the planet, that they had to change themselves physically. This is the theory. I'm not saying it's true. It's the theory. They had to do that. Since they had to do that, that's how they had to modify themselves with the primates. And so they didn't get dumber. They became different. Right? That's the theory. Who knows? So, yes. All righty. Wesley says, your campaign website FAQ section contains entirely obsolete info about the 2022 election. If I was just looking into you and I saw that first, I would think you're not really in the game. Well, I appreciate that, Wesley. It depends upon where you go on my website. Some of those parts are still there. Some aren't. We only announced last month, and I have had an extensive, long time running from 2018. And I also have pages there that if you go look, if you type in certain pages, it'll pop up. But if you don't type in the pages, it won't pop up. So some of them still exist. You have to actually type them in, which ones. Some of those too. There's some older ones. It's true. There are some that are true. So yeah, it's true. We'll fix it. We'll get better and better. So yes. All righty. Mike says, theory is that could be parallel species living in the oceans. Yep. And we never notice because we know almost nothing about the ocean floor. Reasonable theory, but I don't agree with it. I agree with everything Mike said. Reasonable theory. I don't agree either. I'm with you. So yeah, it definitely, but it could, I wouldn't be surprised. It could happen. It's possible. Most of it, we haven't figured out what's going on. So yes, this has been a very weird AMA, but I'm happy we do it. It's why we do AMAs, to let stuff go, let things flow. But more importantly, guys, so that when I say I will take any question, I will take any question. You will know what I think, how I think. You'll see me laugh and joke with my friends. Mike's a buddy of mine. You see us laugh and joke with friends. You see who I am. I know that as I become better and in the game, to take Wesley's point, There are going to be people who are going to insult me, lie about me, all those things. That's when I hope you guys will know. No, it's not Larry. I know him. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't say that. I know him. It's different. I'm hoping that will be my only defense, because it will be my only defense. So, guys, please click the like button. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please reshare this. I keep saying it because it does matter. Remember, after the show is over, please come back and comment. Please come back and comment on this after it's over. And here's what I want you to comment on. Do you think young men are the next important demographic? Are they the ones who are deciding the elections? Are young men the group or the demographic that the next leaders have to capture? If they are, let me know yes or no and why in the comments once it's over. And also, if it's not live, you're going to see 2 videos pop up. Please click on one right away. Watch for these 8-10 minutes. You know who loves that? Mr. Rhythm. Algo Rhythm. I will see you all very soon.